Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And even though it was a banking holiday, this week it didn't slow us down in the news one bit because we've got a lot to get to. We have the Department of Transportation taking aim at the legacy airlines and their rewards programs. We have American Express out with a new fintech partnership from their venture line or venture division, I should say. And of course, the story that has me most interested in many of you is U.S. Bank is finally taking on Bank of America's preferred rewards. So we will cover all of it. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, batting leadoff is a bit of a PSA, if you will, for all you Verizon customers out there like myself. Yes, you can spare us the comments down below, like, oh my gosh, you pay Verizon fees, this, that, and the other. Yes, we get it. But Verizon is known for having an auto pay discount of $10 per line, meaning that if you opt to either use a Verizon credit card, business or personal, or just ACH from a linked bank account, they would knock $10 off of your bill per line that you're doing that. Well, Verizon is now sending out notice to folks saying, hey, it's not going away, but it's being nerfed down from $10 to $5, which is, quite a nerfing, if you will, unless, of course, you move to a more expensive plan. Now, I'm not going to go through the plans here, so that point isn't really to sell Verizon deals, and a lot is going to come down to how many lines you have, what you're doing on your family plans. I don't even have the family plan or the personal one. I've got the Verizon business phone and internet here, so my discount was never $10 to begin with, but the point is, a lot of us have foregone using a chasing cash or something like that to get 5% back because the auto pay discount was better than earning the percentage off. Now with the discount or the reduction in discount, probably not the case for many, especially the more lines you have. And again, you can of course move to a more expensive plan, but that also doesn't seem like the answer just to protect the discount either. So just be aware of that for you Verizon customers out there. Now, on to American Express. American Express has a division they call Amex Ventures, which is basically their venture capital arm of the company. And every so often something they find something cool and they start doing a partnership with that individual company. And this one is no different. They're now working with a company called Not that does kind of like not payment processing, but it helps link credit cards to like merchants and stores and things like that. So they're partnering to make it easier for customers to switch their credit cards. You get a new credit card, like I want to switch it instead of having to go to like Apple, Amazon, Verizon maybe to switch your card. You can just go through Knots there. They call it the card switcher. You got the press release on screen and just do it that way, right? Which on theory does sound a little bit easier. So it's a trial run. A lot of this is going to depend on how many merchants they can get to sign up. I would assume right now they're only interested in letting you switch American Express cards. We all try to make more of an ecosystem play, if you will. So card switcher is not a bad name. The tough part about this is like I'm not super excited about it, but people like us have a ton of cards anyways. So switching cards all at once doesn't really do much for me. Now, in addition to that, there's other things that exist, Apple Pay being the biggest one. I don't use Apple Pay on my phone much, but Apple Pay on desktop I think is helpful because it's usually a much quicker way to check out. And again, that's one spot to change your card. Most places online do take Apple Pay through desktop. The other interesting part is like this, there's already something not exactly like this, but behind the scenes, if you ever get a new credit card, like yours expires and they give you a new credit card, so like the CVV and the expiration date changes, you don't really have to go in and actually update that anywhere because like the payment networks know that that's a point of friction. So every time we send you a new card, we'll kind of force the change through the system, I guess, so to speak. I don't know the technical parts behind it, but anyways, that's what happens is they don't want to, deter you from using a Visa and switch over to MasterCard because you have to switch your card. So they kind of do it for you. For the most of us, it comes in handy. On occasion, you'll see posts where people are upset because they're trying to get out of paying a subscription and block the card. So they'll just request a new card from, their bank. But because this Visa MasterCard thing in the background is still happening, that the subscription service can still charge it. So I think it's something like that, except this is more of a customer-facing one where you can actually go in and change your card in one spot. I would like to see the user interface behind it. Again, I would imagine this will only be focused on American Express cards to start. I don't think they're going to care much about Visa MasterCard. If it's a big business, could they license it to other ones? Probably, or sell to other ones? Probably. But I mean, there's more of like an ecosystem play and just one more benefit of having an Amex card. And again, it's not targeted at people who have a bunch of different cards. So very early on, we'll have to see how this one plays out. but is interesting nonetheless. Now, what is also interesting is the Department of Transportation taking aim at the legacy airlines. So you're talking Delta, American, Southwest, and United. They are taking aim at their loyalty programs, specifically about the fees and nerfing and devaluation. So I'll put up the full post from them. We're not going to read the whole thing, because as you can see, there's a lot of words here, but they're going after them for like 4 things basically. So I'll kind of summarize. So the first one is devaluation of earned rewards. Like, yeah, tell us about it. Airlines may apply changes retroactively to rewards that customers already earned in ways to reduce or eliminate accrued value. They may move the goalpost by increasing the number of points needed for redemption or status upgrades. Most definitely. Hidden and dynamic pricing, yes, Marriott and all those other guys who switched to, I know this is airlines, but still. When the true dollar value of rewards is hidden or unpredictable, it can be easier for airlines to devalue rewards without detection. I would also agree with that. Extra fees, airlines often add extra fees for passengers to maintain, redeem, or transfer points they have earned. I don't know about that one, but I don't also redeem a ton of points. So, the one that comes to mind there for me is American Express's transfer tax on moving points. But I don't know if that's related, but you guys would know more than me on that probably. And number 4, reduction in competition and choice. This one seems like the thing the administration would most care about. They're really big into competition. So reward programs are a critical financial asset and can be a key part of airline mergers. Alaska and Hawaiian. These mergers can eliminate or reduce competition and choice for rewards consumers, particularly as an airline's dominance increases in a particular region. I wonder if this had anything to do with the not approval of Alaska Hawaiian. But anyhow, on the surface level, yes, I think they do most of those things. I feel like there's going to be a few key debates here, right? So I'm the credit card company, because what probably happened is, and they've probably been looking at this for a while as they've gone on their war about junk fees and things like that. But when the Delta American Express numbers came out, it's like, oh, they're making billions on these credit card partnerships, because I don't think they're really talking about like earned airline miles from travel. I think they're talking about that plus the credit card programs. I think that really caught on. Plus with the merger stuff we've seen, right? The credit card and the airlines folks would say, well, you can have miles, but those points are worthless until redeemed. So we're not actually changing any value because they're worthless until you redeem them. That's probably going to be one of their defenses, right? On it, which I can see. I think they do a lot of this stuff. Devaluations, definitely. There's like a devaluation season, it seems. Like once the first one goes, then, everyone else will go. Then maybe a year and a half later, they'll do it again. That stuff definitely happens. I don't know how far they're going to go with it, changing the, what gets in, technically they changed the tickets that allow you at entry into like the Sky Club, for example, right? Even if you have a membership, you can't buy like basic economy. I don't know how far they're going to get into it. A lot of the stuff, they're not off base. It does make me laugh because like taxes, sales tax is like one of the biggest hidden fees out there. In fact, that it's not reflected in the price you get to the register, but beyond the point. So I think people can look at this 2 ways. There's one half people who are like, yes, they're right, go after them. And like, you wouldn't be wrong. And there's the other half that's like, is it the scariest words we have? Red Sox Nation will know this down below. It's like, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. There's like this feeling that, yeah, but certain legacy companies like banks and airlines who get bailouts are too big to fail, and there's not a whole lot you can do to them. And even if you do something to them, they're still going to figure out a way to come back and get it from the customer on the back end. That's probably the thing that concerns me the most. The example I like to use is when we went after auto industry and said, hey, you guys have to make weight on these cars. And they said, okay. And then they removed the spare tire and the jack and the tire iron and all that from the cars. And they saved a bunch of money. And if you get a flat tire, you just kind of hit, or you got to buy more expensive run flats that are questionable sometimes. So you get my point, right? That's more so what we've seen. So there's definitely a feeling like, I don't know, man, maybe you guys want to pick a fight somewhere else. But at the same time, I don't think they're wrong, because we report on this stuff all the time, and devaluations happen all the time. And then, yes, they do happen on points that you've already earned. Again, are they worth anything before you redeem them? That's going to be a big point that this is going to go on. So anyhow, it's very early on. We'll keep an eye on it. As you frequent travelers out there, let us know what you think down below. I am curious to hear your thoughts on it. Now, the story that caught my attention was U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank has often, been looked at as like, hey, you guys could be really good if you just tried. Well, they might be here to try now. So I am Bank of America Preferred Rewards member, and we've often wondered why other banks didn't copy Bank of America's preferred rewards, which is give me more money and I'll give you better benefits. Well, that's what US Bank is doing with their newest card offering. So take a look at this, and we'll leave this up for a while. So coming soon, earn up to 4% cash back on every purchase with a Smartly Visa credit card, a Visa signature card, because they've switched their checking accounts named or Smartly, I think, so that's why it's called Smartly. So at standard, it's a 2% back on everything card. Now, if you go below this here, you can see earn a total of 2.5%. with a qualifying balance of $5,000 to $50,000. Earn a total of 3% with $50,000 to $100,000, and then 4% with a $100,000 balance or more. And of course, this is combined assets, so it doesn't really have to be like in a checking or savings. The only way this makes sense, like the only way Bank of America makes sense, is to do it through Merrill Lynch or Merrill Edge. And do it that way, because I think these guys, U.S. Bank does have better savings products a little bit, but not by much. You'd really want it to be in the brokerage account there. Now, I had heard reliable rumor that Bank of America or U.S. Bank was going to do something like preferred rewards, but I didn't know what. And who I was talking to didn't know at the time either. Then all of a sudden this came out. And I think this has tremendous potential, right? There's a lot we don't know. So one, it's a waitlist card. I have put myself on the wait list because why not? Number two, is there an annual fee? I've heard there will be no annual fee on this card. It's not yet publicly confirmed, but I've heard there will be no annual fee, which would fit because this is a 2% card. So I really don't think you can put an annual fee on it. And the biggest one here is, will there be a cap on the 4% cashback? If there's no cap, then this is probably a game changer card for many people, myself included. Now, the downsides that we do know today is that U.S. Bank, again, you're going to want to do this through a brokerage account most likely. Their brokerage accounts have, I believe, a $50 annual fee, even the self-managed ones, self-directed. Why? Because reasons. But, on one hand, you could say, well, it's a $50 annual fee for this card. Sure. There's a lot of, I guess my point is there's a lot of different ways to justify that $50 annual fee that we know of today. If you have assets over $250K, then there is no fee. But assume a $50 annual fee or $50 fee for the brokerage account, because that's probably how you'd want to do it. You could easily make up $50 in gains over the year. I think the intro offer on this will probably be like $200. That seems about right. Last time when they did this with the cash rewards, they didn't, or Shoppers Cash Rewards, they didn't tell us what the intro offer was until it was out. $200 seems about right for that type of card. So there's a lot of different ways to justify that $50 fee for the brokerage account, assuming you go that way, which again I think is the only way to do it. But if that cash back is not capped, if it's $100,000 with them and 4% back on everything, then yeah, I think this is going to be a big deal. Again, U.S. Bank's a little tougher. Again, they are more uptight on recent inquiries. So I would have a problem getting the card for sure. But we're definitely going to do a full comparison when the card is out, not only of the card itself, but the entire program, what it encompasses, the best way to do it. Very similar to how I broke down a plan on how to become preferred rewards, how to stack offers and things like that. We're just not there yet. We want the product to be out. And the other question I would have is, on a head-to-head, this is a lot easier because it's about 4% better than Bank of America's 2.6% card that they have, right? Significantly better. But one, I think U.S. Bank is known for starting out at much lower limits. Bank of America gave me 25, 23, and like $25,000 on my 3 cards. U.S. Bank starts you out very low. Now, they did move up my Cash Plus like $14,000 later, but, it starts out low. The other thing is, they have one card that knocks them out. Bank of America still has their customized cash and their Susan G. Komen, which are category cards, which is better. Preferred rewards does apply to all of the cards and all the products, right? You do get some level of pricing discount across the product line. Again, is that pricing competitive if you don't shop around? Maybe not, but it expands the whole product line. It's much too early to go after U.S. Bank, like, well, you don't offer discounts here, and here. But for the average person, it's definitely more of a consideration if you're trying to pick which one to bank with. So as it stands today, you probably want to go to Bank of America, but their program is just starting out at U.S. Bank. And the other thing is I think they know who they're targeting because they chose to start it out with a companion credit card, right? If you were trying to target other people, maybe you have targeted different products. I do think they know who they're going after with this. I do think there will be more to come in their, whatever they're calling their program, Smartly, whatever. But we just got some time. And again, I do think it's fair that we give people time. More than often than not, we like to jump on the first iteration of something and say it's terrible, when realistically it does take quite a while for full programs to come to fruition like that. You generally do it in iterations, get people in, build the hype, that whole thing. So I'm very interested. I got my guy working on it, keeping an eye on it for us. So when I know, you'll know. And I definitely foresee a good handful of videos of us breaking down me trying to go between preferred rewards and US Bank. As it stands right now, I think I would just try to pull some of my IRA from B of A and move it to US Bank is probably the easiest way to do it. We'll cover that in live, so long as the cash back is uncapped. We've talked way too long about this, but you can tell I'm super excited about this one. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the news. So, of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. And, of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on profitablecontent.com, which is the channel's blog. Always linked down below for you and on the channel homepage. We not only post news stories just like this, we have plenty of bank promotions, some from US Bank, and we have credit card offers. We got a few airline ones, too, if you want to get in before the government shuts it all down. A little dramatic there, but we got those cards, including referrals for the Chase Ink 900s that I hear are back as well. So again, go ahead, take a look. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.